Check once where the bros are here. Talking soccer, sipping root beer. From the stands to the pitch to your ears tonight. They break it down, no fluff, no gloss. Goals and misses, they count the cost. Laugh aloud while they analyze the fight. RSL bros, they're running the show. Kicking it live where the fans all go. From the mountains high to the valley low. RSL bros, they're in the know.
RSL Nation!
What's up?
That might have been a little too happy.
That's me, man. I mean, come on.
Guys, welcome to another episode of The Bros. I'm almost tempted to call one of these episodes like Family Home Evening.
That's what it feels like.
It's not Monday.
You're right. It's not Monday.
And for any of those that are looking for a podcast talking about Taylor Swift, this is the wrong podcast.
But
that's what you think.
We're going to talk about...
You brought her up, dude.
Guess what? We're going to talk about Taylor Swift now. Great. It's the best news that's happened in the past couple of days. Again, welcome to another episode of The Bros, where here we banter as a family. We're going to give the bros. We're going to talk, and we're going to get angry at each other. Actually, I don't think any of us have different opinions. Maybe we do.
Maybe a bit, but not to the point of anger. I mean,
come
on.
Because here at the RSL Bros, when you're here, you're family.
Where does that come? Someone has that slogan.
Olive Garden.
Oh, thank you. we'll cut that out.
I have more Italian ancestry than you do. Come on.
It's true. Yeah, I don't know where we're gonna go with that, but guys, we're gonna talk. This past weekend, really, there was some light shown on a lot of things that I think people were in denial of. I think there's a lot of fans that were in denial, and then this game happened, and a lot of things changed their opinion. So we're going to talk about the game versus Minnesota. We're going to talk about everything that was said afterwards. We're going to talk probably about most of your comments that you guys have made on social media. So if we call you out, you better watch out. Then we're going to flip the page. No, we're not going to flip the page, because then we're going to talk about what's remaining, because we still have 2.5 weeks until RSL plays again. So we're going to talk about what is happening in the table, what needs to happen for us. We're going to get you guys updated. Then we're going to go into the U.S. national team call-ups, because there's a lot of opinions on that as well. Let's just say, is this where RSL fans like draw the line on a lot of things? That's what this episode is going to be about. All right. Is where do we draw the line on we've had it? And then at the end, from what I hear, there are some Instagram questions that we're going to banter about. Why not? So with that, Marcos, I'm going to ask you, since you were at the game.
I'd be at the game.
You were?
You were game too.
I was at the game too. But I'm going to ask you your thoughts, and then obviously same thing with Christian. But Marcos, give me your thoughts.
I guess before we begin, I did miss Christian. I did miss looking over Christian, how's the game? No, I had nobody to turn to and talk to. No,
sorry.
I was gonna say,
other people were asking, "Where's Christian? Where's Christian?" I was like, "Christian, no here."
Well, I was gonna say, me being down on the field, I looked up where you guys were, and normally Christian's like, somehow Christian has a third eye, and he's like always knows when I'm looking up, and he like always looks down. He's like, hey.
Hello. Well, with that being said, I'll get right into it. So we saw the debut, obviously, of DeAndre Yedlin. He got signed on Wednesday, so that was awesome to see him right fresh get that start. Only 2 practices under his belt with RSL, and Pablo's like, that's enough for you. You get the start. And then we see the home debut of Victor, and then Ruan Cruz, of course, gets the start. But I think the biggest elephant in the room, I think all of us are head scratching, is Caliskin. Caliskin over Ojeda. Because we've seen Ojeda all of a sudden on a tear during Leagues Cup, what he did during Leagues Cup, scoring so many goals. But then Pablo's like, enough's enough. You get a little siesta, you get a little break. But Caliskin over Ojeda, I can't wrap my head around that.
I have some thoughts. I'm going to see if Christian has any other thoughts before I dive in.
I mean, that's the same degree as putting Bodie Hidalgo as a striker.
Do you remember that time when we put Hidalgo as a right wing
Uh-huh.
starting,
Correct.
and it was like, the heck?
I was just that there were some tactical decisions that baffled me for this game, especially since the Seattle game has been delayed, so we would have had time to rest. And this is one of the best teams in the West.
Yeah,
And
I don't know any other excuses for Pablo's lineup. I can't think of any because when you think of if Caliscan gonna be playing wasn't gonna be playing that position, defensive midfielder, you still had Ruiz and Ojeda, who have been normal starters. What is with starting Caliscan as starting him as a defensive midfielder?
Like, yes, of course, he's been a great right back when we've needed him, when Hidalgo,
fantastic right back.
when Javain Brown's been out, but totally different position, totally completely different position. We have DeAndre Yedlin who has the experience. So Ojeda, this game screamed Ojeda because we needed that push and that attack to help us.
But that being
Yeah.
said, tactics aside, to me, the only players that played like they wanted to be there were four of them: Olatunji, Cruz, Yedlin, and Rafa.
I'm gonna give a question mark on Cruz. I'm still not fully sold on him.
You're
Like,
not?
I'm not. In between. There was some moments where he was a little shaky, but then there was obviously some bright moments.
Look,
And
I'm not gonna say shaky. I think that the team around him doesn't know how he moves. If you see some of his movements, even from last game, they are
mhm.
intelligent movements. They are like he's been playing in leagues above us, or at least in better quality teams than RSL, and
Well,
RSL hasn't adapted.
a wise old man was talking to me on Sunday, and he said Victor and Ruan Cruz are up here. The rest of RSL is down here, and
I
our
wouldn't say the rest.
Fine, fine. There's Victor and Cruz, whoever you're thinking of, and then everyone
and
else.
then everybody else.
um, who said that? Did I?
No, Dad.
Oh, RSL dad. Okay. Um, yeah, it's look, I think what I'm most stuck about in this game is seriously Caliskin. I am super stuck on that only because take away the own goal. All right. Own goal aside, the other two goals were caused.
Set pieces.
Well, no, the one of them wasn't a set piece. I think it was the third goal, was not a
Mhm.
set piece.
That was an
Uh,
open field goal.
Yeah. Yes, Yedlin, bad pass. But he mentioned in the press conference, bad pass because he's still not used to his teammates. It looked like Kaliskin might have been calling for the ball, but didn't move to a position where Yedlin thought he would move. And whoever he's played with in that position drops down a little bit deeper. Whatever it is, Kaliskin was not it. And I think Pablo mentioned that he put Kaliskin in that position because he's one of the better communicators on the team. Is that what I heard? Is that right?
Correct.
That is a
But
load, man. That's a load. And if you look at the ratings on FOBMOB, he got the well, he was in the middle to lower mid. Um, not the guy. Like you said, Ojeda was the guy that we needed. In fact, here we go. Here we go. We're gonna pull out the numbers. Ready? Um, Kaliskin had 56 passes. Great, good for him. His compadre next to him, Anelli, how many passes did he have?
18.
18 whole passes the entire game.
Oh, and then don't get me started with Diogo.
Yeah,
11.
wait for Diogo. It's coming. Um, Anelli dropped off this game like a bag of rocks. It was horrible. Having 18 passes in 68 minutes. Um, Ruiz and Ojeda came in. Ojeda in his 22 minutes had 20 passes. Like, what are you doing? What Taylor Twellman? What are we doing? The tactics for this game were absolutely horrendous. Let's get into the Diogo part. Diogo, where?
And I think you mentioned it last episode or probably 2 episodes ago or something like that. That not Ojeda, excuse me, Diogo is going back to his traits back from the beginning of the season, where he's very lackluster and not his level of DP status. That's what I'm worried.
Homeskill moved backwards.
Yeah.
Like he got better after he got benched. Like we saw a couple of games of Diogo's like, oh, this is great. We're recovering. Dude, legit. We just finished Leagues Cup. We got 2-game road trip, lose both of them. First game home, and we lay an egg. And our DP is nowhere to be found with 11 passes in 45 minutes. How many touches is that? Does it tell me how many touches? How many times did he touch the ball?
He touched the ball 22 times. 22.
22 Guys, how do you touch the ball only 22 times? You have to almost like try not to get the ball. I know you guys are shaking your heads and it's frustrating, but we see him get subbed off at halftime. Did any of you guys notice what happened after halftime?
Well, you were down on field level.
I wish I would have stayed back in the locker room hallway, to be honest. But then again, I probably wouldn't be sharing it here. But he didn't come out onto the bench in the second half. He was nowhere to be found.
That I did miss. I did not see that happen.
Interesting.
I didn't see him, and as I even like walked over a little bit, I looked over, looking over at everyone on the bench. I didn't see him. So, are we seeing the fall away or the fallout of Diogo?
Maybe. It's possible.
We're gonna leave the room.
I was gonna say it's speculation. We're not confirming. We're not denying. It's just an observation.
An observation. Leave it at that. But it does speak volumes to what is happening. If he was having issues at the beginning of the season, somehow got a coming to Jesus talk in May, got benched, started again because you know what, he's really repentant of whatever he did, and then he falls back into this. I can see why Pablo would bench him.
But in that first half for RSL with their goal in the 15th minute by Olatunji, not gonna lie, that those first 20 minutes, I saw that spark. I saw a spark that RSL's back. We're here, we're hungry, we want to get goals. But then it just seemed like the rest of the 70 plus minutes, it shut off. We're back to the typical RSL where we just don't see that desire, no more ganas that we want. We had, what was it, 26 shots in the entire game, 9 on frame. But it's what Pablo said. We can have all the XG in the world, but we need to be finishing those chances.
the XG, by the way, 2.05 to 0.7.
That's unacceptable. That is so unacceptable.
We performed half of our expected goals and they quintupled theirs. Or it's closer to quadruple, but still, that's insane. And here's the thing. Let's talk about the goals against us. First off, the Vera own goal, you cannot blame Brian Vera for that. Anybody who wants to try to blame Brian Vera for that is going to catch hands from me. I'm going to defend Brian Vera on that. You can't do anything about that.
No.
I would like to see any of these internet soccer players that think that they know better than me. You don't. Try to say how you would have defended that better than Brian Vera had you been his exact place, that exact time in the same position.
Also, being a teammate of Diogo.
Yeah,
because the video I sent you guys right before we came on, I did a screen clip just so everyone can hear this. I did a screen clip of right after the goal, Rafa's reaction and him yelling. A lot of people, if you were watching from home, he was yelling at Diogo. If you were at the field and you weren't noticing, again, same thing. He was yelling at Diogo and just yelling at him in Portuguese. So when I looked back at the clip, and sorry, I know this is like old news for you guys, but I'm telling everyone else. Um, I just wanted to read his lips to see exactly what he was saying, and come to find out, he was yelling. He was yelling.
Take the ball.
He's yelling, hit
And
the ball in Portuguese. Bater na bola. Okay.
Button the ball.
because watching the replay, you literally see Diogo's eyes just
No,
glance and
well, it looked like he like did his normal half a effort of like,
yeah,
I'm gonna jump up and miss the ball. Like that, there must be something that Hafa saw that was like, bro, you could have gotten that ball. Why didn't you touch the ball? Hit the ball. Just do something.
What doesn't Rafa see? He's got the best field vision out of the 22 players on the field. He had the best vision out of all of them.
absolutely, absolutely.
And to your point, Christian, we shouldn't be blaming Vera, but we should be blaming. If we're gonna blame anyone, I'm gonna go with Hafa. I'm gonna be blaming Diogo for not putting forth enough effort because again, after he said hit the ball, those two kept talking. Diogo obviously walking away like he normally does, avoiding conflict. They kept yelling at each other in Portuguese to the point where Diogo just turned and just did a little arm wave at him, like don't like telling him to knock it off. Um, that's not cool.
And
Not cool.
that's what worries me as teammates. If it starts right there, it starts right there, and the team chemistry, it's worrisome.
Yeah, and people they were talking about in the press conference of how this next 2 weeks are going to be like a mini camp. Ah,
I hope so.
I hope, but if we're gonna have things like this, if I know where I'm blaming one person right now, but if there's not that chemistry going on, it's gonna be really hard to move forward for the last 7 games when everything needs to be focused, like hyper focused, and we're needing to grind out results. If not everyone is bought in, it's gonna be super hard to get those results.
Yeah.
Other parts of, oh yeah, let's keep talking about sorry, we were talking about the goals against us. So own goal, great. Second goal, what do we
Set
got?
piece.
Set
Set
piece.
piece.
To quote, semi quote, someone asked Justin a couple weeks ago, you guys remember in the press conference, how do you guys get better at defending set
Oh,
pieces?
Caleb after the Charlotte game.
Caleb
Just do it.
Justin's like, I don't know. Just do better. Um, guys, set
But
pieces.
that's not an acceptable answer, though. Just do better, please.
I mean,
We're not sponsored by Nike.
no, we're not. It's actually Adidas.
Adidas.
Adidas. But I guess how do you get better at set pieces? Like, what specifically needs to be get better at set pieces?
Defending them, like being in the right place, the right time.
I mean, when it comes to like looking at these, like I'm watching the replay of the highlights of the games right now. It's just a lack of marking of players.
Mhm.
90% of these, and this I do not say is Pablo's fault at all. This is players not following through with the execution on the defense of a set piece, which set piece defense is always man coverage. You stay between your man and the ball. It's fútbol 1-0.
It's as simple as that sometimes.
And you take a look at like on Load, whatever his name is, he started at the back. This is actually I would actually blame Olatunji for breaking the coverage on him because Olatunji came forward when the team tried to collapse on the ball bit, left Load wide open. They got the ball out wide to him, and he just nice little angle in.
I mean, we could, but then again, his duty is once the ball is played in and supposedly semi cleared, he's supposed to head out. and be the point person. So it's again, we go back to the point of maybe a lack of communication.
Could be
But
that too.
yeah, um,
But
the defense is so frustrating right now.
I was gonna say, at this deep into the season, the back line hasn't changed except for adding DeAndre Yedlin. But none of the issues happened on his side. Our right backs this season have arguably been the best part of our back line this whole season.
I
Yep.
mean, you could say maybe the third goal was his fault.
Eh,
I know.
eh. The whole back line was in shambles during that.
Can you believe though that FOTMob gave him the lowest rating?
Bob Mob is silly at times. Like, come
This
on.
one, this one is
He
silly.
was no, he was not the worst player on the field.
No, he really wasn't.
And Rafa did not deserve a 5.2.
Yeah,
Like a 6.5. It wasn't his best game either. I think there was lack of communication within the team, no control on the field, and lack of chemistry.
I think last thing probably on this Minnesota game, I want to talk about these subs. We saw some wonky subs. Obviously, we saw Ojeda Ruiz come in. Johnny came off in the 61st minute, but just some of them just didn't make sense. We see Ari being the first sub coming in the second half for Diogo, and I'm like, we're having 3 strikers now.
yeah, yeah. I think that's
mean,
because we didn't have very many players.
I would honestly,
this is where
I would have thrown Wolf or Diogo.
here's where we actually see a point of weakness in our team with letting Dom go out on loan to Cincinnati for the rest of the season. Suddenly, we lost a lot of depth on our right attacking wing.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a new problem, and I'm sure I'm going to I will play devil's advocate. I will advocate on behalf of Pablo Mastroeni here. I really like Pablo, and so I'll bat for him here.
Do it.
No, he's in a tough situation. He's like, crap, I suddenly don't have the depth that I did. What do I do now? I don't have any true, besides Johnny Russell, I don't have any true right wingers.
Yeah.
You make good points. You make good points.
I mean, yeah, that's the tough part. I mean, you had one on suspension, one we obviously sent out on loan, so you're down to Russell, and then we have pseudo wingers. So I I can see that point. I mean, it is what it is. I don't have an issue with the personnel that we have. I think maybe it really is it's all mental for these players. Like when can we get them to be focused in and bought in to winning? Like it almost seems like as a group they're not cohesive enough to even come to the same goal of winning a game. They they want to be individualized.
So
Gio-
would you say overall
I
that
just-
it's a team problem, coach, all the above, or where are you at then?
well, I think maybe with that, let's kind of transition into press conference right now. So, I will congratulate you, Marcos, on two excellent questions.
This is the first time ever in the 2 years that I've done this that Pablo has been stumped by me, and I felt honored.
And he was very appreciative of the question too.
So your first question, if you don't mind repeating it, if you remember it. let's see if you remember it.
I do not remember it.
It was so good I couldn't remember it.
It is great. So let
Oh,
me pull it up.
My notebook's over there, but you got it.
Yeah, I got it here. This is what we're gonna do. Did you send it to me? You didn't even send it to me. I had to look it up. But anyways, I'm gonna put it on audio. You guys
I was gonna say, can we clip it in right here?
we could, but I'm gonna have everyone listen to it again. All right. So here we go. Oh,
On staying positive with holding players accountable right now. That's
okay. Do you guys hear it? Do you guys want to hear it one more time?
Do it one more time. They cut off at the beginning. So
Okay, sounds good. We're gonna do it again one more time. I love Instagram, by the way. I can't figure it out.
Okay, old man.
Staying positive with holding.
I did it again. Let's do it again.
Staying positive with holding players accountable right now.
Pretty
That's
much,
a great question.
how do you get the team to stay positive during
And
during
and be accountable.
While
be
holding players accountable.
while holding players accountable?
Like there's like he said, there's a couple parts to this, but how do you keep it positive? That's one.
Well, you can't throw the baby.
Can't throw the baby out with the water. Apparently, that's what he says. That's how you stay positive. But then again, how do you stay accountable? How do you keep these players accountable, saying, "Look, you're not doing what I'm asking." So you can look at it a couple of ways. One way you can look at it as Pablo really wants to figure out what's wrong, or you can look at it as Pablo's blaming everyone else but himself. There's take it as you want. I'm just presenting the ideas. Okay. So if we're gonna go the route of Pablo is trying to figure out the what's wrong, you have to almost bring up regularly the accountability of players. Like, look, and I learned this. Get this. I learned this is off of FIFA 25 or FC 25, where in manager mode in the press conferences they ask you about specific players and you have to determine whether you want to like reprimand them, where you want to encourage them, etc.
That's the funniest thing I've heard all day.
I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna be a FC manager like of the year.
Okay.
Chill out, bro. But I would want him to say, look, there's a couple of players today that haven't had great games.
And I think that's the kind of thing that I've been waiting for and wanting out of Pablo, to take accountability, be like, hey, Caliscan, terrible game. Diogo, he needs to do better in this, this, and this, and this. But he doesn't. And I think he also mentioned in that question that he doesn't want to call players out or something like that. But
I mean, it's a manager style. It is
It's a
what it
manager
is.
style, and you also have to probably take into account. Again, I'm gonna advocate for Pablo here. He is probably dealing with a very, very precarious locker room right now. Probably have a lot of very frustrated players, and last thing they want to hear, because I bet a bunch of them listen to the press conference on the drive home, and last thing they want to hear is their coach ratting them out on national or international TV on a press conference saying such and such players sucked.
Yeah, and again, manager personalities. You hear some of the biggest managers call out some players sometimes,
for
whether
sure.
good or bad news. But I think trying to keep it positive and keeping them accountable. I don't think they're meshing well right now with Pablo. Whatever he's doing, I don't feel like it's meshing.
And in this time that we've been with Pablo, what is it, 2019, 2020, something like that, in my opinion, we haven't seen consistency. It's been the same thing every single year. Yes, granted, it's the player's fault. And yes, last season we had a great season. We broke the record in points, record in goals. But I think even if RSL does make the playoffs, I think it's time to part ways and move on from Pablo, because we haven't seen that consistency. We haven't seen us go past the first round of the playoffs in a very long time. So I want to see a change.
So I think it's got to be a combination of things at this point. I don't necessarily think that. I mean, it could be time to move on from Pablo. That could be a solution. I think it's got to be a combo between the players and the coaching, because, like you said, we have seen. I mean, we have seen consistent success to an extent with Pablo. We've been more consistent in making the playoffs. We've been more consistent in having a more positive result on the season with him.
Except for this season.
Well, and for this being a quote unquote worst season, which, yeah, we're we're under 500 at this point,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of coaches, granted, do fall into this every once in a while. And so but you also have to take into account where are the players' heads at? Where are you we're like a few weeks ago we were talking about like, do we really need Diego Luna to perform and do well and just kind of and we're like, nah, we're fine, and we have a game without him and we completely fall apart. And
You're not wrong.
And so I think we underestimate kind of both elements to it. I don't have an answer. I, if ownership thinks it's time to move on from Pablo, then it's time to move on from Pablo. If they decide to keep him for another season, I could also see that being justified as well.
So, I guess related to that, Mark's second question was, what do you tell the fans right now that we're on a 3-game losing streak? But what I was telling him on Sunday is what you should have added was with the start of the season that we had, plus a current 3-game losing streak. What do you tell the fan base right now? Because his answer was geared towards the 3-game losing streak part.
With the Charlotte, the New York game, just saying, "Oh yes, we had this and this happen. We could have, should have won."
He said things were out of our control, and
Mhm.
I disagree. Things were not out of our control. We had full control. In fact, when we were up 1-0 in New York, we had control.
Yeah,
And we
absolutely.
let that down. So that's what's super frustrating right now is that as much as he wants to try to have a short-sighted view right now, and he kind of has to. That's the way this business runs. You have to turn it around and try to find the next game, get a result. If not, you're going to be stuck in this rut. But I I feel the fan frustration right now, and in fact, we're already hearing the narrative again of Pablo out. Um, I I'm going to say this. I think he is out of a contract at the end of this year, if I'm not mistaken. When he was with Colorado, if you guys have heard us for a while, we've already mentioned this, but his last year with Colorado was his worst year with Colorado.
Correct.
Uh, um, if things are going the same exact way, guess what? This is his last season, and if it all turns out to be really bad, this is going to be his worst season with RSL. Um, so I can see us moving on. That's what I can see. And I think if we have these new players for the next, we only have Cruz for half a year next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have Olatunji for a minute, and we have Yedlin for a minute. But if we want to take full advantage of the new players, and granted, new players that could be coming in because there are multiple players that are out of a contract. I can't even name all of them right now. Multiple players that are out of a contract at the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we do want a new face leading the charge for all the new faces that are going to be together at the beginning of next season.
Who knows?
Who knows? But the fact
It's
that
well, it's to Christian's point. Like, we could see one more season. Pablo could be out. Options are there, but RSL Nation is frustrated. They want change. We want consistency. It's just so hard when we just see this game after game, week after week.
I think it's more your second point than it's more consistency rather than change. We've had plenty of change over the past several weeks. We want consistency. That's going to be more important.
yeah, and I think we keep hitting a ceiling that we want to get beyond, which is first round of playoffs. We're done. We want something bigger. Speaking of something bigger, let's go international.
Ooh.
All right. So the U.S. national team announced their 23-man roster.
Yeah, they did.
And boy, oh boy, did the internet decide to comment on it.
I mean, fair.
There's some names. They're like, do you really belong? Do you really
But
belong on this
let's
team?
talk about some positives who aren't there.
Weston McKinney.
Is that a positive?
I actually think that's a negative, but no Ajuman.
Oh,
Positive. Anyone else?
Gio Reyna.
Oh, but
Gio Reyna.
he hasn't been there for a minute. I think his soccer careers are like done.
No Balogun.
No Balogun, all
That's
right.
a that could be because he is starting for Monaco.
Mm-hmm.
So those are
But
the
that's
big positives for me that aren't there.
yeah. And
Where do you
plus,
want? Do you want to start? Do you want to start with the defense, or do you want to start with the strikers on players that don't belong?
oh, you want to go with like who don't belong?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Let's just
we're gonna rip this apart.
look. I bet I don't even recognize half the names.
Well,
So for me,
I'll start with this. Oh, it's Christian. Let's hear it.
let's start with the forwards because I think
Okay.
Marcos wants to start with the forwards. The
Correct.
two that wowed me out, and because I agree with Marcos on this, we were talking about this earlier. Damian Downs with
Yeah,
Southampton.
I've never heard of him.
Congrats on him for getting called up. If it's his first call up, I have no idea.
No,
And Alex
he was up during the
Zendejas.
summer.
Alex Zendejas has done zilch for Club America. Trust me, I watched him play in person.
Uh-huh.
I could run circles around him.
6 matches, 1 goal.
Okay, that's
for
an
Zendejas.
exaggeration.
So someone was mentioning on Twitter that for Zendejas that if they would have brought him onto the U.S. national team when he was doing well, that was probably I think a little bit after World Cup, if not somewhere around then. Berhalter should have brought him up at that
Mhm.
point, and he would have made a huge difference. Right now, he is in a really bad moment.
Yep.
Yeah. Another player for me that I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, how are you on this team? You go down to the defenders. Nathan Harrell. You look at what squad he plays for. He plays in
Yeah.
the USL.
We've got him listed as Philadelphia Union.
He
Is he
plays
on
for
loan?
Bethlehem Steel.
So he's on loan at Bethlehem
Yeah,
still.
yeah. So he doesn't really play for Philadelphia. He plays more for
I
Bethlehem
mean,
Steel.
should we discount the USL that much?
You tell me, should we?
See, me personally, I would be okay better with a player from the championship than the USL.
Who would you call? What U.S. defender plays in the championship?
Well,
Defender? I can't think of
defender?
Yeah,
No,
you're talking about a defender over the USL. USL championship over USL. We were talking about a defender.
I don't
Who
know.
would you call up?
I don't know. I like granted he's maybe a good player, but I just personally would want somebody with more experience if we're going into the World Cup next year.
I don't even know what kind of defender he is.
He's an outside back.
Bro,
And then for me, the other big question is the same as always: the goalkeeper camp. That is so freaking inconsistent. Matt Freese is going to be the starter.
Correct.
100%. For me, that depth chart is Matt Freese, Roman Celentano, and then Jonathan Klinsmann, who is coming in from his stint in the Serie B.
Yeah.
He helped his team promote from the Serie C to the Serie B, which is awesome.
I'm gonna go back to forwards.
Okay.
Josh Sargent has been left off for like the past 2 years or so, it seems like.
Uh-huh.
And finally he gets his chance. I think that might be one that I agree with.
I do agree with it. Christian Pulisic, consistent with AC Milan. He's already scoring goals for AC Milan.
That one was kind of a no-brainer.
But
Tim Weah, just starting with Marseille. I would have given him more time with his team.
let's talk about the midfield though. Midfield, we have our guy. We have Diego Luna in there. But you also have Jack McGlynn, Luca De La Torre,
Mhm.
Berhalter, Zawadzki.
Zawadzki plays for Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
We have what is it? 5 of the 6 called up midfielders are MLS.
Correct. Which they're not bad. They're decent for their clubs.
But what makes them better than Weston McKinney or any of the other ones that got left off? Well, I guess that we'll transition that into Christian. What did Pochettino say
Oh,
today.
Oh, this is spicy. Let me read this here. So, for those who didn't hear, USMNT head coach Mauricio Pochettino said it's not necessary for players to move from MLS to Europe because sometimes MLS, under my assessment, is more competitive than some leagues in Europe. We have some players that may be competing in different leagues that maybe aren't so competitive or in every single week compete in the same way that you compete in MLS every single week. But that is my assessment. Oh, and if you play in a team in Europe, you are above the players that are in MLS. That is not the way to assess the player. So I agree with Pochettino to an extent here. Purely playing in Europe does not automatically make you better. Because let's take somebody who's on the goalkeeper squad right now. Jonathan Klinsmann plays for Cesena in Serie B.
Okay.
While it's good experience for him to play at the international level, I wouldn't have called him up.
Right. I mean, that I'm not arguing with. Like,
But
there's levels.
here's the thing. People incorrectly immediately assume that because it's the United States, MLS is not a top tier league. Well, who was it that just did the league's rankings, like UMTA or something like that?
I can't remember. I think someone had mentioned like MLS was at ninth or something like that.
It was 12th. Opta,
12?
that's it.
Opta. Yep.
Opta just ranked the best leagues in the world. And let's see, they have Premier League at number one, Serie A at number two, which I think is questionable.
Yeah.
Tied with La Liga, followed by Bundesliga, Ligue 1, the Championship, which again, that's questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Championship being the sixth best league in the world. Give me a break.
Uh-huh.
Belgian league, Portuguese league, Brazilian Serie A, the Dutch Eredivisie, Liga Profesional Argentina, and then MLS.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
and honestly, a lot of the discussion right now is how low the Saudi league was ranked, being 29th in the world according to UPTA, which honestly I agree with.
Yes.
You have
That's what that
two good teams in Saudi,
that's where they belong. That's where they belong.
Al Hilal and
And-
Al Ittihad.
No,
I'm not-
Nassar. Nassar.
I'm not including Nasser. They are a B-level team in that league.
Eek.
Interesting.
Cristiano Ronaldo's stint in the Saudi league is comparable to Zlatan and MLS. It is going to be seen as a failure.
Wow. Wow.
What does he have to show for his time there other than a crap ton of money?
And a lot
Nothing.
of well, he has a lot of goals.
So did Zlatan, and nobody cares.
It's true. And
Goals
actually,
can only get you so far.
But-
and here's the thing,
trophies.
But here's the thing: to use the Zlatan example, Zlatan couldn't compete in MLS. He couldn't hack it. And so what did he do? He ran away to Serie A, which is a better league, which there are better teams, I will grant that, and won a title with AC Milan, like instantly.
but he did score goals over in Italy as well.
He did
It-
score
When he
And
went back.
So to show that players in MLS are just as competitive as the players in Europe and being able to compete on an international stage. We also saw that during the Club World Cup with, admittedly, Miami keeping up and beating like Porto, which Porto's a huge team. It's not a small team. It is a huge team,
Right.
making ripples on the international stage that way.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know I'm going to get glazed by people online for this. I don't care. I think if you are underestimating MLS, you don't know soccer.
But
it's a growing league. It's been growing.
I'm
Well-
not saying there aren't valid criticisms. I'm not saying there isn't room to grow. I'm not saying it's the best damn league in the world.
no, I'm not saying that either. But here's the thing, though. For instance, that Miami example you just gave, Miami also had to buy in a lot of players internationally in order to compete. Whereas the majority of MLS teams are not investing that way and that much money. Besides LAFC, Seattle.
But look at where Inter Miami is in the table right now.
Because they invested in the international tournaments
True.
and
But Leagues Cup ends in a couple weeks. Then what happens?
True. I'm not saying that they aren't horrible. I'm not saying that they're supposed to be the best all the time, but
Mind you,
they are
Miami has 3 games in hand, so
also because they played in how many tournaments? 3 other tournaments.
2. But yeah.
I mean, they played in CONCACAF
Oh,
Champions Cup.
you're right. So 3.
Yeah,
Club World Cup and then Leagues Cup.
plus the league. So that's what I'm saying. They had to buy that many in order to be that good across the board. Um, and right now, MLS is not invested as a whole in increasing the level of every team. They're
Fair.
invested in increasing the level of certain teams and big market teams. So if for instance, if we were to have the same amount of attention and help at RSL, I bet you our level would raise up. A lot of our players would have to get sold because they're underperforming or would be under the level that we're expected. That's where I don't agree with Pochettino. Like MLS is up to the same level as other leagues, but with certain teams. Miami,
Fair.
yes. LAFC, yes. Seattle, yes. But if you put in RSL and you put them in the championship, they're gonna get mid-table championship.
I think that's fair. It's
Yeah.
just like I've said this before. I think MLS, if you were to compare them to the leagues in the United Kingdom, would sit right in between the Premiership and the Championship.
Right. And I guess that goes then into a conversation of, is Diego Luna really up to the level that the US national team needs in order to be competitive against other teams in a World Cup? Not just Gold Cup against Guadeloupe, Virgin Islands, and whatever. We're talking about, are they good enough? Is Diego Luna good enough to go against the Belgian national team, the Dutch national team, Italians, etc.? That's what the US base
Mhm.
wants to see.
Well, ever since Luna has returned from his first stint with the national team, he hasn't shown RSL Nation that what he did for the US, and that's what kind of worries me. With him going back with the US men's national team, is he gonna be able to do it once again? Going against good teams like Korea, Japan, who are one of the best teams in Asia.
Japan is the best team, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Are they better than Iran?
In the rankings, I think. Yes.
Yeah, because Japan right now in the FIFA rankings is at 17. Korea comes in at
Mid-20s?
23.
So these are solid teams. I don't
Yes.
see, honestly, if I to be fair to Diego, I don't see him starting.
No, no.
I see him coming off the bench, which is fine. I think that'll be good for him.
He needs to come off the bench because I think there's other players that are above him in terms of experience. So I don't think he's in the midfield range category. I think he's floating in between because he's probably a sub for Pulisic. He's probably a sub for um, I don't know, Weah or one of the wingers, one of the
I see more in for Weah than Pulisic because if he and Pulisic can set their egos aside, they could work incredibly well together.
I think that was gonna be my next question. Do you think at any point in these next 2 games we're gonna see that pair, Luna and Pulisic?
I hope so if they can figure out how to work together.
yeah. I mean,
Because obviously we have these 2 friendlies, and then we'll have 2 friendlies in October with Ecuador and Australia. We have 4 left until next year. So I think it comes down to this for Pochettino to be mix and matching who works well, who jives well with one another.
When talking about questionable coaching decisions, this is way worse than anything Pablo's doing right now.
oh yeah, I mean, look, I bet some people were like, nah, Pablo's doing a lot worse. But if you really look at it, the amount of players that were left off that normally are
Right.
our first team, and I think this was said a couple of times online too. We are, like you just said, Marcos, 4 games away from basically
World Cup.
basically finishing the cycle, and
Yeah.
we don't have our starting 11 solidified. It's
No.
what I've said too many times. Argentina, you know who's starting. I mean,
Yep.
but if you don't know, it's usually between two players and they're interchangeable.
I was gonna say there's
Well,
mild variation.
we've had this problem since 2017, since Landon Donovan, since Clint Dempsey left. Ever since then, we've been mix and matching. We haven't known who our solid 11 is.
Do you think that's a chronic problem with just US soccer right now? Is inconsistency with lineups and strategy and culture? Is there just too much inconsistency?
I think it goes back to a problem you've talked about a lot where we are trying to find our culture as a soccer nation,
Our identity, yeah.
our identity. And because yeah, we're a little bit lost on that end. You've got some positives like the American Outlaws, which are those are symptoms of very good things for the US soccer culture. But they don't have as much traction as they used to. And we're instead looking for the typical American superstar, fix everything sort of deal, which you do have rarities like Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, who are superstars on massive teams, but then you take a look at teams like England and Spain and
But do you know what I also
France.
see? Maybe along the culture talk is also when you look at again, we're going to give Argentina as an example because we know that pretty much at like the back of our hands. Most, if not all, the players come from the local league. If you give me a player from the Argentina squad, I can tell you their home team. I mean, DePaul comes from Racing, Montiel comes from
Yeah,
River, yeah,
Julian.
Julian comes from River, Di Maria came
Mhm.
from Rosario Central. They all came from Argentina, but you can't say the same thing about the U.S. national team because this generation grew up with MLS. So, yes, you can tell me, well, the academies weren't really formed then, whatever. But these players don't have something attached to them in the United States. They're not proud of the league that they're from. And maybe, just maybe, that's what Pochettino is trying to do. Is trying to get the national team tied with the local league so that way they can be proud of something here.
I mean, that is something if we want to speak to a positive about Diego Luna, that is something that he does exude.
Yes.
He is proud to be from MLS, to be from Real Salt Lake, and also competing at the international level.
But I feel like that's a mistake for Pochettino to be doing 4 games prior to the World Cup. That's something you should be doing maybe a year after the World Cup to be mix and matching with MLS, homegrown, things like that. Right now is the time where you need to be solidifying who is going to be my keeper, who is going to be my striker.
I can see that too. I mean, especially with the World Cup being here. Here's
Yeah.
right now is when you need to have your best team, the very best. And right now we're not seeing that. In fact, some people are calling this online the worst 23 that we've seen in a long time.
I don't know if it's the worst.
People are saying it.
Well, people can be wrong.
It, 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 it,
I'm not
it,
saying
it,
that I'm not saying there's questionable parts to it. Like
Right.
again, for me, the most questionable part of this squad, it's got to be the goalkeeper unit.
Hmm.
Everything else has got elements of foundation and familiarity that will work in our favor. The goalkeeper unit scares me a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So next week though, we're gonna leave this conversation on hold. Next week though, we're gonna talk a little bit more about it because we're gonna go into that actual preview of these next two games for the U.S. national
next
team.
next week, since we won't have prediction time, we'll do prediction time for next week for 2 games.
Da, 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 da.
Exactly. Excellent. All right, let's wind down. That was a lot of. Sorry if I was yelling a lot. If my mic got loud, it's because I just
We are passionate.
we'll call it that.
Sir, please no yelling.
All right, let's dive into some of these Instagram questions to actually maybe these Instagram questions will make me mad again, but let's go with it. Marcos, lead us into them.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it. Why does Austin get a retro kit for next season? Question number 2. That's a 2-part question. And then will RSL's retro kit be a banger or a bust?
All third kits are busts.
You think so?
Ooh.
Ooh,
Not from what I've heard. I've heard our
N-
third kit is going to be one of the best in RSL
yeah.
history.
Rumor has it from Tyler Gibbons, the creator of the jersey. He said this is going to be iconic for next season.
All right, let's think real quick. Iconic things in Utah. I'll give you 30 seconds. What is iconic for you guys in Utah?
Well, I mean, like I feel like it's going to be very
We've already
2000,
we've already done
2000
mountains.
2005.
We've already done mountains. We've done beehive. What is it gonna be? A lake? Is it gonna be green jello? Is it gonna be
It could be a Utah Jazz themed jersey.
arches? It can
Arches
be
would be great.
an arch. Okay. Um, hmm. I can't think of very many things that are iconic to Utah.
You know, we'll
Some
just have to wait and see.
white for snow.
White for snow, maybe a big snowflake. Guys, I'm just not a big fan of third kits unless it's again, I sound horrible when I say this. Unless it's River Plate. River Plate has some pretty sick third jerseys. Like you guys saw the red and black stripes. Brother,
Those were clean. Those were clean.
that was clean. Anyways,
Mhm.
See, I'm a fan. I like third kits. It's something different for the team to wear.
all right.
Next question. Was DeAndre Yedlin a good signing? In my opinion, no.
Oh, I don't. I guess we won't call them out, but big disagree.
I think
I
it's a great signing.
yeah. I think it's the obvious reason why we signed him. He brings that veteran piece which that the backline needs.
And he
Uh,
wants to be here, which
Mhm.
is people are like, oh, he's gonna want to skip out early, and just everything I've seen on social media of him interacting with with teammates and the fans, it's in the eyes. You
Yeah.
can see he wants to be here. There's something happened at Cincinnati where he wanted out,
Up there.
and
Yeah.
Salt Lake RSL approached. And he's like, I was there earlier this year. Love the atmosphere. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. I'm I'm down with it. Oh,
And
also, but
can we just talk about how much we got DeAndre for? That was an honest steal. That
was
was a
that the buyout though? I
I
because his salary on MLS salaries was 900,000 with Cincinnati, by the way.
but I think it was around 300,000. That's how much we got him for.
I think that might have just been the buyout, the GAM buyout. I don't know. Anyways, we got him for less than 1 million, which by the way is less than what Glad is getting paid. Also, Yedlin will not be available for next game due to yellow card accumulations.
That's so stupid that it carries over.
It
Yeah.
should reset when he goes to a different team.
It should, but it doesn't.
Next
Fix it,
question.
Gone Darber.
Yeah, right. Next question. Who else needs to be dropped to make this team better? Maybe let's focus on these 7 games first, and then we'll do that at the end of the season.
For example, I really think I'm done. Actually, not done. I think Pablo Ruiz is done. I think Justin Glad is done. I think we need to move. We need to move on past the older ones that have been here for the longest. Those two, I think we can replace them, especially Justin Glad. I think we can get a Yedlin like price for Yedlin like experience.
Yeah,
Maybe I
but
don't know.
it's something that teams focus on the games now at hand, and then deal with all that at the end of the season.
Sure.
But next question. In you guys' opinion, should fans keep asking for the dismissal of Pablo as head coach?
Ask all you want.
The voices of the fans need to be heard, but on my end, again, if if leadership decides that he needs to go, I'd be sad to see him go. If they decide to keep him for another season, I like Pablo.
If I were a player under Pablo, I would understand what he's asking.
Mhm.
Um, I haven't been a professional player for as long as any of these guys, but I think personally I would get along with Pablo, but that's just looking from the outside. I'm not sure what the inside looks like.
Yeah. We will just have to wait and see what happens next. Next question for you guys. Would you like to see RSL in the Club World Cup, even if we performed worse than Auckland City?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
1000%.
It shows us that it gets us recognition, shows people who we are.
And beyond that, I mean, I would love to be a part of a soccer celebration like what it was. I mean, me and you went. It was a celebration. That's
Yeah,
really
thanks for
what
the
it was.
reminder.
Stop it. Don't be bitter. You'll probably go to the World Cup without us anyways. Oh, come on. But it's a celebration because the one that we went to, you would have expected fighting out of it, especially with it being Argentina, Mexico.
There was.
Very little. I mean, I
Very
think
little.
the one fight that we saw was Mexico on Mexico, I think.
It was.
Yeah. It's just two drunk guys. But anyways, I would love to see RSL participate in a major tournament.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be fantastic. Next question for you guys. When do we switch focus from the playoffs to developing for next season?
As soon as we're officially eliminated from the playoffs.
I think again, might be going a little bit more negative. I think as soon as we get a head coach, because I think right now we're too far in with Pablo to even think about developing a new
Mhm.
a new set of players. I think um I think front office would want a new coach before trying to develop a new squad. I don't know that. Yeah, I think we have too many old dogs to have them learn new tricks.
Yeah, I'm right there with Christian. I think focus on what's at hand, and until the day comes that we're officially eliminated, then you turn your focus towards next season.
Sure, sure.
But that's all the questions for tonight.
Oh,
But thank you guys for everybody that submitted your questions.
thank you very much. Definitely hearts all around. Um, woo wee. Guess what, guys? No game this week,
Aw.
and no game next week.
Aw.
But we will have the one after that.
Ah.
Yay!
So guys, yes, no game this weekend. There's still soccer around. Watch some of it because it does affect RSL. In fact,
It does.
especially those that are around us, Colorado, San Jose, Austin, even Dallas, I think is tied with us. So they're trying to
I
creep in.
was gonna say, the season's not over. Even we are fortunate that despite our past poor performances these past few games, we still have a chance. Chance is smaller than it was, but we still have a decent chance.
Yes. We might post a story about our percentage chances, but guys, there's still a chance. Hold on to hope, at least. Hold on to it until it absolutely runs out. But
So currently, as it stands, a eight seed RSL is an 11% chance, 9 seed 15% chance, not making the playoffs 64. I like those odds. Those are good odds.
We've faced worse odds.
we have a 36% chance of making the playoffs. Great. um, but yes, hold on to hope until hope is gone. And then after that, just be a fan. We understand, we hear all your guys' complaints. We really do. We don't have any control over anything. We don't talk to anyone special. So we hear you and we understand you. Just sometimes we like to be a little bit more positive than normal. But, anyways, guys, thanks for being here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Marcos.
If you guys aren't already, head over to TikTok, head over to Instagram, head over to X, and follow us at the RSL Bros. Listen to us wherever you catch your podcast on Spotify and Apple, and watch us on YouTube.
Woo!
I think you got it. I think you might have
Should-
missed Facebook, but whatever.
Only you're
Eh.
on Facebook.
Anyways, guys, it's been a blast. Till next time.
Catch you guys next week.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.